Hey everybody, and welcome to this Wargame Quickie video on helicopter mechanics. So, Lynx H7, CH53, both 320 kilometers per hour. Basically the same thing, right? However, like your mom, there's a big but. As you might see, there's obviously the size difference, very big and small. And as most of you are hopefully aware, size affects the accuracy of units shooting at your unit, right? So if a Gepard shoots at a Lynx H7, its accuracy gets slightly reduced because the Lynx H7 is small. If it shoots at a CH53, the accuracy gets increased because it's very big. If the size is normal, it doesn't get affected, and if it's big, it gets only slightly increased. If it's very small, it gets quite a bit decreased, etc, etc. Size does not affect stealth or spotting, meaning that a CH53 gets just as quickly spotted as a Lynx H7. The same goes for ground units as well, by the way. Size does not affect when you get spotted. But on helicopters, there's another thing that size basically affects. It technically doesn't really affect it, but the effect correlates with like 99% of the units. So for all intents and purposes, we can say that size also affects that thing. And that thing is acceleration and deceleration, as well as landing speed and hovering, the speed at which you change altitudes. So let me just quickly demonstrate this on nuclear winter. So let's first just get again a CH53 and Lynx H7 next to each other. And let's also do this on top of forest, so they start in the air, just to also show you the difference it can make when you start your helicopter units already in the air as opposed to on the ground. So let's, tell these to fly there, shift, unload, tell these to fly there, shift, unload, and let's just see how this goes. So as you see, Lynx H7 got a massive head start just because it can accelerate so much faster. And then after like a couple of meters, they both reach the maximum speed. And, as you can see, the difference between the Lynx H7s is not that big, but the difference between the landed Lynx H7 and the landed CH53 is massive. Between the already heliborne or airborne pair, it's not as big, but, Now let's take a look at how fast they land. It's maybe not as easily to be seen here since they come in at different times, but Lynx H7 was pretty fast. And as you may notice, the CH53 takes much longer to go down and then unload. So let me just load these back in. Change altitude. Change altitude again, please. Did you just see how much faster the H7 managed to get on the new altitude? That isn't a huge thing, but especially if you like pop in and out behind forests and stuff, that can sometimes save the life of your helicopter. And now it's just tell these to unload again. Lynx H7 unloaded, CH53 still going down. And obviously when they're stationary or not moving or such, it's not as big of a difference. But if you like tell them to move, if you add all these effects of slower acceleration, slower deceleration, slower landing, slower rising, if you add that all together, and even if you just fly a short distance, let's just take a look at when the H7 is unloaded and when the CH53 is unloaded. It's 55 seconds on a time here. CH53 5 seconds later. Now, may not sound like much, but especially in the opener, these 5 seconds can make the difference between life and death, etc, etc, right? Another important thing is, don't group your helicopters. For one, they sometimes just fly way too close together, but two, especially if they have infantry inside of them. Let's hope this just works, because sometimes it's a bit inconsistent. They won't unload until both are basically unloading. which sounds weird, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What I mean is that if one helicopter is basically landed and ready to unload, it won't unload until the other one is ready as well, meaning that they can only unload at the same time but not individually. So if one helicopter is ready to unload and the other one is still like landing, none of the units are unloaded. So I hope this will work here. This is most noticeable like on towns and such. Okay, this time it didn't work. Like I said, this is a bit inconsistent, so let's like try this again with these. The same goes for loading back in, by the way. What you can always do is just have them split and then put them back together in a stack after they are unloaded. Take this out. So this one is landed and basically ready to unload, whereas this one is still just. There we go, finally unloaded. You see? Let's take a look at this. This one again, ready to unload, not doing anything. Has to wait until this one is also landing and ready to unload. And now it unloaded. So this is, you can lose a lot of time, and obviously you can lose your units here in these stupid scenarios. So please don't split your units. And then accelerating speed, etc. obviously is also different. Let's make it even bigger. Let's take a very small Gazelle cannon that accelerates even faster than the Lynx H7. Let's call in a CH-53. And actually, no, I think they would take the same spawn. Okay, let's call in again. I don't have any H7s left. Let's call in a cannon and the okay, let's call in the CH-53 first. I'm sorry for all this stumbling over my words. Then a cannon. CH-53 is gonna spawn first, and then there's, I think, a 10 seconds. Oh no, they spawn at the same time. Very good. Like the timing difference of spawning didn't even make a difference. The cannon is now ahead of the CH-53 just because of the lower size. So be aware of these kind of things. Obviously, relatively often you can't really choose between various helicopters just based on size. But when you take, for example, mixed blue, and you want a Milan 2 in a Panther or in a Lynx H7, Panther is medium sized, Lynx H7 is small sized, and they have near the same speed. But the small size means it's harder to kill, it lands faster, it accelerates faster, etc., etc. These are all small factors that the game again doesn't tell you. Size, let's take a look at the tooltip. Size, the bigger the more chance to hit. It does not say that size also basically always correlates with your acceleration, deceleration, etc., etc. That those are things that yet again Wargame just does not tell you. And since lastly, I just want to take a look or show you the Mi8TKT. Let's call this pay to win. It's not really a huge factor, but it's worth talking about. The Finnish Mi8, as you might see, for some reason, is faster than all the other Mi8s. Or Mi17, which is an Mi8 MTV, right? 250, and for some reason the KT has 280. Huh. Alright. But they are the same size, so maybe you might think, well, they are probably gonna be just as fast, right? No, in terms of acceleration, of course. They're not. They're not. I'm gonna show you this really quick. For some reason, whoever, probably an intern, did the stats for the Mi8TKT just screwed up. Let's take this KT and let's take this Mi17. And let's also take the other Mi8T, the other Finnish one. Let's just to be sure take another Mi17, you never know. Nice teleporting. Let's just tell you to fly over there. And as you can see, the Finnish Mi8s just get away much faster. And obviously they have a much higher or a significant, quite a bit higher maximum speed, so that obviously means that their top speed is also higher. For no real reason. There is no new engine or some shit that the MIT's got. No, it's just Eugen screwing up. Yeah, I think I mentioned everything that there is to say. So yeah, I hope this video was useful for you. It ended up being longer than I thought. I thought it'd be like a 3-minute video. Yeah, I hope it was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we learned something, and I'll hopefully see you next time.